Welcome back to Acing AP Bio. In Unit 3, we will focus on macromolecules. We will start by discussing the importance of carbon and functional groups. Carbon composes complex organic molecules in organisms. Organic compounds require both hydrogen and carbon. The simplest organic compound is the hydrocarbon, molecules only containing carbon and hydrogen. Something important to remember is that hydrocarbons are nonpolar and thus are hydrophobic. So what makes carbon such an essential molecular building block? It can form up to 4 bonds because it has 4 valence electrons. This allows for the creation of large and complex compounds. Carbon is also compatible with a wide range of elements. Carbon can form lengthy and complex chains, known as carbon skeletons. Carbon skeletons can vary in length, shape, like they can be either linear, branched, or in a ring structure, and they also can vary in the amount and location of double and triple bonds. Carbon's versatility spurs the creation of different types of isomers. Isomers are compounds that have the same molecular formula but differ structurally and thus inherit different properties. We will discuss 3 different types of isomers: structural isomers, cis-trans isomers, and enantiomers. Structural isomers have the same molecular formula, but the arrangement of the atoms in this carbon skeleton differ. For example, C5H12 can exist as a fully linear structure like pentane or with a branch like isopentane. Cis-trans isomers form when 2 different compounds differ in the arrangement of atoms surrounding the double bond. Double bonds are rigid and do not allow free movement of bonded atoms, and so the arrangement of atoms around double bonds does have an effect on chemical behavior. In a cis isomer, the same atoms are on the same side of the double bond. As you can see here, both OH groups are on the same side of this double bond. In a trans isomer, the same atoms are on opposite ends of the double bond. As you can see here, both OH groups are on opposite sides of this double bond. Enantiomers are 2 compounds that are mirror images of each other. This takes place when the central carbon has 4 different molecular groups attached. This carbon is called the asymmetric carbon. The 2 different spatial positionings of atoms around the asymmetric carbon create the mirror images. It is common for one enantiomer to be active and the other to be inactive. Notice how these 2 compounds are mirror images of each other. Next, let's discuss functional groups. Hydrocarbons on their own are not highly reactive or diverse. Functional groups confer unique chemical activity and physical properties to organic compounds. The different functional groups are hydroxyl, carbonyl, carboxyl, amino, sulfhydryl, phosphate, and methyl. Let's first discuss the hydroxyl group. A hydroxyl group is made up of an oxygen bonded to a hydrogen. The bond is a polar covalent bond. This is important because hydroxyl groups make the molecules they are bonded to hydrophilic and therefore water-soluble. Organic compounds that consist of a hydroxyl group are known as alcohols. A carbonyl group is made up of a carbon double bonded to an oxygen atom. The bond is a polar covalent bond. So, compounds with the carbonyl group are also water-soluble. Carbonyl groups are commonly found in sugars. If the carbonyl is in the middle of the carbon skeleton, it is called a ketone. If the carbonyl group is on the end of the carbon skeleton, it is called an aldehyde. A carboxyl group is made up of a carbon double bonded to an oxygen and also bonded to a hydroxyl group. It is polar and therefore water-soluble. It has the ability to donate protons due to the hydrogen on the hydroxyl group. So, compounds with carboxyl groups are known as carboxylic acids. The amine group is composed of a nitrogen atom bonded to 2 hydrogen atoms. It is polar and water-soluble. The nitrogen has a pair of unshared electrons, and so it can accept a proton, allowing it to act as a weak base. Organic compounds with an amine group are called amines. Sulfhydryl group is composed of a sulfur atom bonded to a hydrogen atom. It is polar and water-soluble. It is involved with protein structure stability through the formation of disulfide bridges. We will talk about this in detail in the next video. Organic compounds with the sulfhydryl group are known as thiols. The phosphate group is composed of a phosphorus bonded to 4 oxygens. It is derived from phosphoric acid, H3PO4. Therefore, compounds with phosphate groups are organic acids. They are negatively charged because it is formed from the loss of 2 protons in phosphoric acid. It is polar and water-soluble. It is a major component in ATP, which is an essential source of energy for organisms, and it drives cellular processes. A methyl group is composed of a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. It is nonpolar and hydrophobic, so compounds with methyl groups are not water-soluble. Methyl groups are an important component of cholesterol and the plasma membrane. That's it for this lesson. In the next video, we will talk about macromolecules. See you then. For more bio content, hit subscribe.